Hey folks, and welcome back to another episode of Straight Talk Whiskey. I'm Nick here with you as always, and thanks for joining us for episode number 134. I know it's been a little while, but with the coronavirus and quarantine and everything going on, it has been a trying time to say the least. So, while things have not been seeming to let up much, at least where I'm at, thought it was about time to get back into the whiskey reviewing game. I haven't been away from whiskey too much, as you can see, almost filling the jar up there. But I'm definitely taking a break from the whiskey reviews, but am happy to be back at it and providing some content for you folks. I hope you've been enjoying some good whiskey despite these trying times. And today we're going to look at the Ancnoc 12-year-old Highland single malt from the Knockdhu distillery. So this one I saw perusing the liquor store as I usually do, trying to find something that met both, a decent price range, but also was something that looked interesting at the same time. 43% ABV at least is what I'm always trying to look for, and something that looked like it had no caramel coloring added to it. Now, I'd prefer non-chill filtered as well, and I'd ultimately prefer those two things to be on the bottle or on the tin or somewhere, but did not find that with this. But in looking at the color, you might be able to see from the screen, it's really pretty light in color, which I was optimistic about, and so I thought I would give it a try. And being bottled at 43% ABV, it met that criteria. And I don't know about the chill filtration, but after reading a little bit about Ancnoc and their whiskey making process, it seems like they spend a lot of time and resources to developing sort of the land that's around it. They have I think it's 2,000 square meters or something like that of wetlands that they've cultivated, and have used, they said every drop of water that they have on their land gets used at least 7 times, and so they're recycling the water that they're using for different things in the process, which I thought was also appealing too, and I'm all for that. So let's go in. Obviously, looking at the color, it's a very light, almost a straw color. Going in for the nose, now I've already had a little bit of this just to sort of get my senses and bearing around it, and I kind of like to coat the glass and my palate at the same time before I do these reviews. That way I'm not coming in cold, especially when I've just washed these glasses, and then it's almost like starting from scratch. So now the beautiful thing about this is it's got a really lovely soft but not mellow note to it. There's some fruitiness to it. There's this maltiness to it. And there's something really interesting in there. Like ginger, which is raw, just ginger root. Not just the spice, but almost if you were to shave some of that ginger off yourself, or to make a ginger root tea or something like that. Because it's got the ginger sense that you'd get with a ready to go spice, but it's also got just this really earthy texture to it that you can get in the nose as well. So let's go in for the taste. Well, this is one that you could really just keep in your mouth and just taste it around for a minute or more at a time. You think with the soft sort of palate on the nose, with a little bit of nuance in here, that you'd expect something that's really soft and subtle, but it's not the case. The first thing that happens is you take a sip, and sort of just the whole outer edges of your palate just get coated in this beautiful sweet honey, but it's different than honey. It's more on the spectrum of a melon or something like that, fruitiness to the honey note. It's just really intriguing because it throws you off guard, especially Ancnoc is not hugely popular as like a household name, at least here in the States, from what I'm aware of. And so it's sort of got like this really subtle, like, but beautifully complex craft and just rich flavor behind it. That's like, wow, that's, just sitting there quietly on the shelf, not calling attention to itself. There's no like gimmicky marketing. It's got a sticker on here about winning some gold medals in various competitions, which is nice. But I love the packaging, nice and subtle. And if you go on their website to look a little bit more about it, I've talked about this before, but when you go on, you don't want to put your whole birthday in and have to scroll through that whole thing just so that they can know exactly how old you are and how to target their marketing towards you. This is just like, are you of the legal age to be viewing this content and like consuming alcohol for your location, and do you want to save the data for future logins? Check those two things, submit, and you're done. It's as easy as that. It's perfect. So just this like really beautiful sweetness coating the tongue, the slight maltiness sort of like sinks to the center of the tongue, but then as you move away from that, you get like these tea notes and almost like a ginger ale, because there's a slight sort of like tartness to it that you get from like some of the carbonation that you'd get in a ginger ale. But definitely not something that I was expecting. It's just beautifully complex and simple at the same time. In the price range, I don't remember exactly where this was. I want to say it was in like the $60 to $70 range where I am. Again, taxes are crazy here, so that could be inflated a little bit, but I think that's ballpark about where we're at on this. So that's about it for this week. If you have had this before, if you've had any of the other expressions that are out there, I know there's like a 16 and there's like a 30, 35-year-old that might be out there. I haven't seen those anywhere, but I'm definitely going to be looking out for them now that I know how good this Highland single malt is. So if you've had it, comment below and just let me know, is it worth getting? Which one would you lean towards? Obviously, price point is definitely a factor. But I heard from somebody reviewing it like 10 years ago that the 30-year-old was under $100 or euros, whatever it is, wherever it was, rather. So let me know what you think. If you're going to drink, as always, drink responsibly, and we will see you next time.